this side, as on this side, according to it. So the chariot is there to destroy who? The one that stealeth. The Bible said, "Cursed is the man that steals the man."
Yeah.
Right. So we know who the man is, right? Because we're still in that man's hand, right? He didn't restore us and put us back where we came from. The man lied about we're in Africa running around naked with bones in our nose, man. Like, yeah, some people were running in the jungle and in the forest, but why? Fear and persecution, right? They were living civilized and thing, and we want to stay and just be taken. You gotta run, man. And the man comes with some guns and that kind of things, right? You fight, we can find up and grab what you can grab, and then you run to the bushes, man. Right? And say, take me, right? So this man had this whole doctrine that he found our people butt naked, you know what I mean? And he civilized us. When he's the one who's to be civilized, man. He's a caveman. Right? His name means caveman. Caucasian means a cave dweller.
Yeah.
Right? So curse is for earth, and he that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on the side according to it. Right? So that's basically going into the chariot, and what it's here for. When you see it says it's a curse, it's a bad thing, man. For us, it's our salvation.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, precept.
Just one quick one. This is Psalms 144, verse 5. Bow thy heavens, O Yahweh, and come down, touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them.
That's right.
Yeah,
so you see, it's saying the mountains. So the Christians say, you think the Most High will be blowing mountains? Obviously, it's leadership and the government, man.
That's right.
Yep. Right. So it's like, see, King David is a prophet, and he speaks as a prophet. Was it David speaking there in the Psalms?
I'm pretty sure that was David.
Yeah.
That was David.
Right. Calling hellfire on the government, man. This is what we do, man. Jeremiah 28. Right? Or prophet before me.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So what was preaching? Come on. Right.
That's right. That's gonna be. That's the laser beams too that you read with the lightning coming out. It's the laser beam, concentrated fire.
The brother mentioned earlier, forgot this though, but I know everybody knows the answer. But hey, the chariots are going to not only destroy from above, but also from below. Because that's exactly what happened with the water, with the flood. But anyway, you can check that out if you don't believe me. But there's scriptures to prove that. These chariots coming from out of volcanoes, from out of the sea, going down in the sea. Anyway, continue.
Was that it on that? Or you
got more?
That was it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go to Ezra's 13th chapter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To establish. No. Establish the great mountain, right? Where and then there's that great mountain. Because it's going back to that great covenant. It's just showing you the Lord is dominant. Go ahead.
So 2nd Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he...
So just picture, sorry brother, but just picture that in your mind.
Yep.
When it means move the sea, it's like the hover ship. It's hovering over the ocean. It's moving it. Just like in the movies where you see it. I know that's just a bad example.
Well, like when a helicopter...
Oh, yeah.
The wind propels from the ground and moving the water. That's kind of what you're saying,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Hey, you gotta look up that word, because when the chariot appeared, this chariot, something happens on the earth.
What word are you looking for?
Terrible. Hey, look at it again. Terrible. Good. It says terrible. Go ahead. And
trembled.
Trembled. Excuse me. Trembled.
Yeah, trembled.
Excuse me.
Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth.
What is the voice?
Fire, man.
Okay, go ahead.
And they burned. Yeah, because
go ahead.
It says it right here. It explains what you're saying. All they burned and heard his voice. All they burned that heard his voice.
So let's get something straight, man. This what the brother's reading now is sweet Jesus, man. That's just the good book, right? sweet Jesus is going to burn people up, man. Right? Who you call Jesus, right? Which we're now declaring to you, right? We're letting in a secret. His name, right? It's Yahushua, man. He delivers. He's the savior of his people, Israel. Okay? So he's coming to burn people up. Okay?
Sure.
You know something? My demon at home has an app which sends her scriptures daily. And she goes, oh, look what this one says. Look what this one says. How come the those? How come the those?
Esau knows he's gonna keep that scripture out. That scripture out. I'm gonna keep this one back here.
And that's a clear example of humming the words,
So
but
good.
don't know what the hell they mean.
Yeah, humming the word. That's right. They don't know the lyrics. That's why.
And you know what it proves also? If this was the great book that everybody claims it to be, why isn't everybody on it?
God.
Why isn't everybody believing it?
God.
If it's so good.
God.
So they lied to you. That's a lie within itself.
God.
Yeah. It's not always. It's not all about good. You know, this book has good, evil, and everything in between.
With a liar.
It's a book of balance, right?
That's right.
It's a book of balance.
Yeah.
It's just not balanced when a liar is interpreting it to you.
That's
Go
right.
ahead.
Now keep going. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they that heard all they that heard his voice burned, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire.
Okay, hold that right there. That word
Tremble.
Yeah.
I got it.
Come
So
on.
this is the tremble. It's the verb, right? It's verb. Early 13th century. It says shake from fear. And it says tremble, fear,
Continue.
shiver, quake.
Now we call it shit yourself, right? That is basically what brother's saying, you know, in the amount of the word. But now we call it shit yourself. You're gonna shit yourself, man. You know, all you mighty men.
On your body.
You know, you got jujitsu and your Navy SEALs and all that shit. You're gonna shit yourself, man.
That's right. So
All right.
you didn't never train for something like this.
God.
Wow. You have more? Oh, that's it.
That was it. Those are all the definitions.
All right. This one, yeah.
Verse 5, it says, 2 Corinthians 13 and 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, out of number from the four winds of the heaven.
That's all you so-called Marines, you so-called SEALs, yeah, and you got this Space Force, this new section of the American Army. That's all you men talking about you're brave and you're proud.
That's right.
All right. So this brother reading your faith.
That's right.
All right. You gonna freeze that?
Yeah.
I was doing
Come on, you go ahead.
Yeah,
Pick it up.
this is Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, are 20,000s, even thousands, of angels. The Lord is among them. That's what brother's reading, man. So just the one ship alone by itself is going to be terrifying you, man. But the Lord is rolling in his strength, man. Enough angels, right? What you call UFOs, full of the sky. All right, I'm gonna put them up. You know what I'm saying? So that's your faith. So you can lock all you want. On top of you want to push things up in their nose. Yo, the men already taking on damn with no COVID test, man. Right? We're good. You know what I mean? Our faith is in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And until death, that's what marriage is. Each other things about death do us part. Yeah, death do us and the most like part, man. We can't die anyways, man. Like spirit is forever, our energy is forever.
That's right.
Okay? So we will be sleeping.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Brother, you had something to say though? You're gonna say something?
No, I was just saying, as the scripture said, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom,
Khan.
and the eyes of the Lord are the chariots.
That's it.
So, yeah.
That's right.
That's it, man.
Beautiful.
Khan, yeah. And the angels that are driving them.
Beautiful. And it's interesting. I something scripture go off in my head because when you go in the book of Revelation, it's synonymous to the cherubims and the seraphims.
Done.
When you're reading it, like the four beasts, it's really a chariot too.
Yeah, I can
So as you said, that was just coming to my mind, and then you, brother, just brought it together. Yeah,
That's right.
go ahead.
Okay, so verse 5, 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. And after this I beheld, lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
This man is proud, man, to subdue. It even so kind of Moses is he put a spirit on them, right? So they're thinking we're going to subdue, this man. Nah, man, you should be. Oh, let's fight him, but let's want to subdue. Subdue my what? I mean,
That's right.
Well, clearly there's a spirit of war the Lord put on Yahweh Shemel Shai put on those men. That's why they have to fulfill it. As you mentioned earlier on. I think it was you, that brother, that mentioned that they have to go through. They have to go through. They have to fulfill the prophecy. Read.
Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. Hey man, because these Christians get simple real quick. They will actually picture a man being Yahushua flying on a mountain.
All right, okay. I was just about to say that. Esau's going to make a film, and I'm going to fly up.
God, man. I think Esau did that with...
or a chariot, or his own chariot.
He did it with when they made up the movie The Ark, and they had the angels talking out of rocks. In that movie.
You don't know his ark, you know? Yeah.
So you know Esau's about that buffoonery, man. So verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. So for your understanding, it's a chariot. And it says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven.
So basically, what it's made up of, like it's out of this world. You can't tell. What kind of rock is that? Steel? What is that, man? Because nothing looked like what he's looking at.
Yeah.
All right.
Those materials aren't here on earth. And it says, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. And yet there's fight. So like what the elders and the brothers have been speaking about, Esau and his armies and these heathens and their armies, they're set up to do the will of the Most High anyways. So they're going to try to fight against Yahushua, but it's all according to prophecy. And you know what? Going back to Egypt, the Most High did the same thing with Pharaoh. He hardened his heart so he could fight back, but all for what? Glory. All for the glory and the magnificence of Yahweh Hashem Shai.
That's right.
In that name.
The Lord changes not. The Lord just moving through. Continue, brother.
That reminds me of the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
That's right. Everything is in there.
Right?
Beautiful.
So verse 9 it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. That's what Esau and the heathens are used to. They're used to those weapons. But Yahushua, when he came, he's not using any of Esau's weapons, these worldly weapons. He's using weapons that are out of this world. Talking
Spiritual
about
powers.
Spiritual powers, right? But the technology of the UFOs, so-called UFOs, the chariots.
Because scriptures say it's a wheel within a wheel and it goes wherever the angels go. That's spiritual.
Yeah, it's funny because you know what? Esau is trying to Esau is trying to mimic. Esau's trying to mimic.
That's all he does, man.
Yeah,
he's a mimicker.
Yeah,
it's a clown.
A parrot and a monkey.
That's right.
But he's trying to mimic the Most High because they're coming out with smart cities, and within these smart cities, so everything controls, but the vehicles that can drive themselves. Because when
you posted that, right?
Huh?
Was it?
Yeah, I think I posted that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because when the brother just said that the chariots went wherever the spirit of the angel went, that's spiritual. So that's Esau trying to mimic that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those self-driven cars, Esau's trying to mimic that. So anyways, verse 10, 2 Ezra 13 and 10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire.
And that proves that's going to be the physical assault. Right now, we're spewing out fire through our mouths with these words. But in the judgment day, it's going to be literal fire coming out. So you know it plays along, right?
Right. Climax on this side of the kingdom, and the Lord's going to demonstrate his full import of what spiritual powers is. Actually, in your carnal flesh, if I may say. Actually, no. let me take that back because we're in the chariots at that time.
Connor, as this is happening.
This is happening, right? I'm thinking about something else. Go ahead, brother. Continue. Sorry.
It says, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. So you got laser beams all over the place. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived.
Wow.
That's a great destruction. You wouldn't even, it's basically saying that with the type of destruction these chariots are going to bring, you usually after a blast you see the residue of the blast, the leftovers, but with a laser it's going to disintegrate everything. You won't even be able to tell that there was a multitude of people here.
It's just gonna be shoes left now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
There's gonna be legions upon legions of armies being destroyed,
Come on.
annihilated, obliterated, like whatever you want to call it. It's gonna look like it came out.
Eradicated.
It's gonna look like it came out of a comic book.
got it. This is Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have like that. They have
Babylon is this place, man. You know, it's taken on the same place because it's a place of confusion. First of all, they keep on passing these new laws that Biden's executive orders of nonsense, right? But the executive orders of draconianism and bestiality and everything that is adversary against the Most High's